You are listening to Fantha Tracks.
Because of the following special program, Wonder Woman and the Incredible Hulk will not be presented this evening.
It's time to get all your Star Wars news in a single file.
That doesn't sound too hard.
Boom! This is Making Tracks.
This is the way.
Here are your hosts, Mark Newbold and Mark Mulcaster.
I know these people. They are brutal. Does this look Jedi to you?
That's not how the Force works.
They'll never see it coming.
Count me in.
Misa back.
You're listening to Making Tracks, and a very special episode as we sit down with the producers of the upcoming animated Disney Plus show Maul Shadow Lord, with Brad Rau, Matt Michnovetz and Athena Portillo, where I was joined by fellow sites Endor Express, Fangirls Going Rogue, Father and Son Galaxy, Full of Sith, Skytalkers, Skywalking Through Neverland, Jedi News, Ion Canon and Fantha Tracks. First, David from Endor Express.
Hello guys, thanks for joining us. My question is for Matt. You've been writing Star Wars for so long. How much of the show is David Filoni asking you to do it? How much of this is you begging for this to be made?
That's a great question. It's constant. It's just a constant recipe. It's Filoni with all his brilliant ideas and throwing them at us, and me and this incredible team just rolling with it, and then trying to make it work.
Thank you. I loved it. So it was fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Next up, Trisha Barr from Fangirls Going Rogue.
Hi, my question's for Athena. Through all this time, Star Wars' animation's been improving and trying to get better. What was something you wanted to improve or learn through this show?
I've been wanting to improve the body mechanics. So the first thing we did was go into the rigs to see what additional pivot points and blend shapes were necessary to give each character their own personality. I also wanted to upgrade the facial animation. And we were lucky to have Sam Witwer be open to us recording him. He would actually drive from LA to here, and we would video reference his face. We wouldn't do mocap, but we would pass off that information to our internal animation team and to our CG animation team to try to get the emotion and nuances to come through in the character. So that was a lot of fun to do, and I'm glad we were able to do it.
Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith, Star Wars fan, Fantha Tracks fan.
Next, Keith and Kerwin from Father and Son Galaxy.
Hello, this is Kerwin and Keith of Father Son Galaxy.
Hey guys, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thank you. My question is for all three of you. Could you tell us about the look of Janix and what were your inspirations for the city's landscape?
Yes. Our inspiration for the city landscape was an artist by the name of Jeremy Mann, as well as the film Blade Runner, to try to get that pulpy, painterly brush stroke look. We actually would do oil on canvas matte paintings, shoot those and composite them to give it that type of feel.
It's so cool. It's so fun. Yeah, a lot of Sid Mead from Blade Runner we were looking at. One big thing we wanted to do is make sure that it didn't look like Coruscant, make it feel very different and vibrant and be a character of its own as we go to different lower depths of the city and strange new areas. And it's fun. It's a really cool place.
And create fun set pieces for all the wild roller coaster action that we have.
Next up is Brian Young from Full of Sith.
Hey, it's Brian from Full of Sith.
Hey,
Great. One thing I wanted to ask, really all of you is, Star Wars is very much part of this legacy of storytelling about really hopeful stories about people overcoming evil, and we have a show about a character who's sort of known for being evil, and this show managed to thread a needle of maintaining hope while centering Darth Maul, and I'm wondering what conversations there were behind the scenes about threading that needle, and how carefully you paid attention to that, and how that construction happened.
I mean, Filoni would always say when we're working on these projects to always incorporate hope into what you do, to bring some light to darkness. So even though he's a villain, there's some ways to resonate with the fact that there are mistakes that are made, the fact that there was loss of family in his, childhood and all. And even though he's seeking revenge, it is something that you don't empathize with the revenge. You just empathize with the fact of how much he lost.
Yeah. And we have some really interesting new characters to contrast against that darkness. We like to say the hope will shine brighter against darker darkness. And this show is a great example of that. Devin, played by Gideon Adlon, Captain Brander Lawson, played by Wagner Mora, are really, there's so many characters, but those two in particular, they have their own agendas, but they're the good guys. They're trying to fight against the evil. So how we filmed that, how we wrote that, how we, had the musical cues played to that was a big thing. We talked about it constantly.
Yeah, it's been a constant challenge, but we've been threading that needle nonstop to craft this series.
Next, it's Charlotte from Skytalkers.
Hi, I'm Charlotte from Skytalkers. Thanks so much for chatting with us today. It's such a privilege to chat with you.
Thank you.
Thanks. What can you tell us about the creation of our new character, Devin, and the process of developing her story alongside Maul's during this time period? Was she always going to be a former Jedi?
It's interesting you say that. We did have quite the evolution for that character at one point. It was another character. It was Brander Lawson's son, actually. That's right. And we pivoted from that because we found more story in what we ended up doing and challenging, to say the least. But she's a very interesting character. She's got this kind of devil on her shoulder in Maul.
Next up, it's Richard Belowski from Skywalking Through Neverland.
Bright suns, everyone. Oh, bright suns, except if you live on Janix. One of the standouts of the series so far is this watercolor aesthetic. At what point in the development of the series did you decide to use this visual style?
Pretty much in the very beginning, we talk about the aesthetic that we want to move the show into. Pretty much at the same time as we're developing in the writers' conference. There's sketches that are being made. We're talking about what films influence us, what painters, artists influence us. So those discussions are up front because you kind of have to have an idea of what aesthetic you want to move towards to make sure you stick within parameters.
Yeah. And one thing to that, Dave told us early on, he wanted to see the hand of the artist in frame. Okay, Dave, let's figure this out. So we've been talking about it in different interviews. It's fascinating. Our director of lighting, Joel Aaron, the mad wizard that he is, he would literally paint on glass and then photograph those images and incorporate them into the flesh tones and into the effects. And so we followed Dave's directive and it helped us develop the style.
The next question went to James from Jedi News.
So my question is, why was now the right time to fill in Maul's story? And what challenges did you all face to bring him his own series?
Challenge-wise, in terms of the visuals and production, I would say we upgraded about 20 to 30% of what we were doing previously. We wanted to try something new. We actually went back to old school ways of producing things by way of creating miniatures. We also did oil on canvas matte paintings that we then photographed and incorporated into the show. We upgraded the rigs for the animation, body mechanics, and facial performances. So in that front, that was the challenge, but it was a fun challenge to have. So we wanted to kind of upgrade it into more like cinematic sophistication.
Yeah, this show is the hardest show I've ever worked on. This show is the best show I've ever worked on. I think those kind of go hand in hand. And getting our character story is more nuanced than we've done on other shows, and our action is a little crazier than we've done on other shows. Those are really massive challenges, but it's super fun. We can't wait for everybody to see it.
Next up, it's William Devereaux from Ion Canon.
Let's see, staying spoiler free, is there an episode this season that stands out to you as your favorite, whether it's because of the story, the animation, or what it meant for the team behind the scenes? And if so, why? For all three of you, something for fans to maybe look forward to.
That's a hard one because I love all of it. I would say, though, my favorite would be, how many episodes have you seen?
The first 8.
Okay. The 8th episode is one of my favorites just because it was extremely challenging and complex to achieve. And we had 2 rounds of creative retake notes. So we had to keep that episode open. We were even down to the wire of lighting, doing effects, even in post-production. We typically don't do that. We're usually like ahead, but we felt that it was important to get everything in there for that. And going into Maul's mental psyche in those 3 tunnel sequences, some of my favorite performances from Sam and the work done by the team.
Episode 10. You haven't seen it yet. That's my favorite episode.
And I will add that I love them all for various reasons, but wait till you get to the last couple.
I like seeing the reactions on everyone's face. It's great.
Love it. Thanks.
Thank you.
And finally, it's myself, Mark from Fantha Tracks.
Hi guys, Mark from Fantha Tracks. Love the look of Janix. It looks amazing. I love the fact that you got the design into the comic as well, into Shadow of Maul, which I thought was a great move. But my question is about Brandon Lawson. I think he's a brilliant character. What were the inspirations for him? He's like a detective. He's got the whole family thing going on. Was there an inspiration for that kind of character in Star Wars?
Yeah, I mean, look, we took a lot of these touchstones from classic serials that, with the DNA behind Star Wars, then a lot of modern cinema from like Heat to The Dark Knight to The Untouchables. I think we constantly take those touchstones. We talk about some of these characters like the Al Pacino Hannah character from Heat.
Huge.
There's a big part of that in Lawson. He's, one part Batman,
Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
A little John McClane.
John McClane. Yeah. Die Hard.
For everything in one location. Daily news, reviews, interviews, podcasts, video and social media feeds. Bookmark FanthaTracks.com for Star Wars news 24/7, 365.
David from Endor Express.
I just wanted to, this might be repeating something someone asked, but for Brad directing this series, can you tell us about what are any specific challenges on this show versus all the other ones that you've directed in the past?
Yeah, they're all a challenge. The serialized nature of this show is new for us, and it brought its own challenges. We were talking about it a little bit in some of the other answers that we normally will go through the process of locking an episode and then we move on to the next episode. We couldn't do that. We had to keep them all terrifyingly, Athena, open a little bit, right? So as a director, just keeping, my eye on the prize so that we could tell the story as well as possible was just a challenge of its own. Also, the action, I love action so much. And when we're doing action right, it is a character of its own, the action set piece. So how we would take these amazing scripts from Maddie and his team and design these sets and how we film them. And I still don't know how we did some things, Athena. There were some crazy challenges all the way through, but our action was really, really difficult and really, really awesome.
I also felt like it was important to keep the episodes open because practice makes perfect. This was a whole new look for us. And I didn't want to be in a situation where I'm like, wow, episode 4 looks great. Gosh, I wish episode 1 looked that way. It has to be right out the gate. So once we got into it and we understood what we were doing halfway through, we're like, all right, let's go back to 101 and 102 and redo certain sequences, to make sure that we have the animation correct, the look correct, everything makes sense. We also do continuity reviews where we look at the episodes over and over again to make sure we're not missing anything in that thread and everything makes sense. And in those continuity reviews, we have even more retakes because, it's like we have to have those contingency plans in there. So it's done.
Yeah. Plus, we like keeping Brad on his toes.
Yeah.
But this team, I mean, come on, we're having so much fun, but it's a challenge. This is the best in the biz. Like our team is so good. That's the only way we can do any of this stuff.
I'm having so much fun.
Thank you.
Trisha Barr from Fangirls Going Rogue.
Yeah, I mean, you don't often get to tell a character story, like to deal with it this often. Like, what are the lessons learned of getting to really get into a character at a different stage?
Oh, wow. Honestly, it's been a challenge, and we are constantly trying to sort of write ourselves into a corner and then, figure out ways to get out of that, right? Drive ourselves crazy getting out of it and finding new situations, new facets, nuance, and depth to Maul, in addition to all these other new characters who are stuck together with him in this crazy roller coaster ride.
Sam Witwer has been a huge influence in keeping the character authentic and coming up with those ideas with Matt and Brad, and it's been awesome to witness that collaboration.
Huge.
Keith and Kerwin from Father and Son Galaxy.
Yes, Darth Maul met his demise in The Phantom Menace, but he returned from the dead, as we know. But since then, he's had several fascinating stories featuring Maul. Why do you believe Maul is so popular with Star Wars fans after more than 25 years?
I think the mystery of Maul, even as fans, when we first saw Phantom Menace, who is this guy? What is going on? And the fact that George and Dave and Maddie and Athena brought him back in the Clone Wars, I think the mystery of him is so tantalizing. And everybody loves a bad boy. Come on.
He's so charismatic.
And his wardrobe's awesome.
His wardrobe is
his wardrobe, his boots.
His boots.
Brian Young from Full of Sith.
Athena, this is a lot for you on the production side. After 20 years of Lucasfilm animation, every season of every show seems to take a light year forward in sort of quality of production animation. How much of that comes from just how much you all have been able to produce over the years? Like, how much are you able to reuse from show to show? Does that affect the look of things? Like, how much are you able to build because you've been building it for 20 years?
It's a very good question. We try to reuse a lot, but there comes a point where you have to ask yourself, do you want to start from scratch or do you want to Frankenstein something? And sometimes when you Frankenstein something, it takes a lot more time and a lot more budget to get it to that point that you want to get it to. That's why we do a lot of development. I created a system called Waves, where you have, like, how can I say this so that it's understandable? Like 3 sets of design waves to equal a pilot of a script, because the pilot is going to be the first episode where you build the entire environment, all your characters, all the props, the vehicles, the projection mats, everything that you need. You can't just do that within 6 to 8 weeks, which is the time frame you get for one episode to design. So you get like 3 waves of 12 weeks to build an entire universe. There may be times where you can go to a particular grayscale like model and not use the textures from like Rebels or from Clone Wars and then retexture it to get that painterly look. But it's we'd rather do it from scratch to get it right. Plus the technology changes. There's different like versions of Maya out there, like Houdini and all of that we have to use. And we also have our internal proprietary tools that we utilize as well. But every show has been a challenge, but I have to say this one has been the most fun, but the most challenging. That the joke I say is, if I were to get hit by a bus or my plane goes down, this would be the best show, like in my book, that I'd be happy to say that I've been a part of. And I always say that. That's why Filoni called me morbid, because I'll talk to Alex Spotswood, who was our co-EP. I'm like, dude, if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, I got to tell you where the budget is right now and where all those EFCs are. So we talk about those things every day.
Keep her away from buses.
No buses.
No buses.
No buses and planes.
And
no planes.
I just got to say, Athena is the best producer I've ever worked with. The best and best. And there's no way we can dream up all kinds of crazy stuff.
And we do.
But there's no way we could. I mean, we were just talking about it today. Is there anything we've dreamt up we couldn't do? The answer is no, because Athena is incredible.
It takes a village. It takes the whole team. And to answer your question too, we've worked with a lot of the same people in the last 20 years. And again, it's an internal family. The more you do it together, the more you understand the flow. You speak each other's language. Everything becomes like an assembly line. And we just love doing what we're doing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Congrats on such an amazing show.
The series is phenomenal.
Thank you.
Season two.
When's Maul's bottom half coming back?
Thank you.
Email radio@fanthatracks.com. Head to links.fanthatracks.com for links to our social media feeds, Fantha Tracks TV and Fantha Tracks Radio. Thanks to James Semple for the Fantha Tracks intro, Blues Harvest for our Making Tracks opening music, and Mark Daniel and Vanessa Marshall for our voiceovers. New episodes drop Tuesdays and Fridays at 7 o'clock UK time. Our weekly news show, Good Morning Tatooine, goes live Sundays at 9 o'clock UK time on Facebook and YouTube. And remember, Fantha Tracks is absolutely free, so it costs nothing to stay updated on all the latest Star Wars news.